Hello class, and this is week 6, module 6, as it's beginning on Monday, July the 15th. And many of you all may be viewing this video on a Sunday evening, or it may be through the course of Monday or even Tuesday. So what we're going to talk about this week here, and I want to get into the content, we're going to talk about market efficiency. We're going to talk about wages and how that actually has an impact within the market. We're going to talk about various factors of production, and I think I may have touched bases on this maybe about 2 weeks ago about the various factors of production and how that adds to a nation's gross domestic product. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to kind of make it conducive and break it down to the buyer or to the individual, okay, that happens to invest, or should I say purchase various products that are considered to be rather competitive, okay, if you look at a healthy market and when you look at the overall competition. Interesting article that I actually want to pull up this week that's centered around market efficiency and various factors of production. This comes out of Liberty Street Economics, and this goes back to May of this year. And this is a rather interesting article here as I kind of want to lead off into what we're going to be engaging in this week. And it talks about the increasing dominance of large firms here in the United States and how there's been a concern that's been raised regarding the pricing power within the product market. The worry is regarding the large firms, happens to be the corporations, are facing fewer competitors. So when you think about a limited competition, you think about a monopoly. That's a term that I'm going to throw out at the class. Okay, a monopoly has limited competition when you look at various markets. Now, with this market, with this article in particular, it talks about how the increase within markups and over marginal cost, okay, could actually lead to a loss of market share. So what this article is talking about is that even though there happens to be a moderate steady growth in production, there's a limited expansion within the market itself. So overall, to sum this up, the market concentration, manufacturing, okay, is an example of a different factor of production. There's various factors. It was stable over in the recent decades, but however though, import penetration has greatly altered the makeup of the U.S. manufacturing sector. And as you know, with manufacturing, when it comes to manufacturers here in the United States, when you look at industrial, automotive, for example, is an example of manufacturing. A lot of manufacturing plants when it comes to automobiles are no longer here in the United States, but they have actually relocated into other countries. And I know that we're kind of skipping the boundaries here, and we're kind of maybe getting into the macro perspective where we are comparing various factors of production, and we're comparing different economies globally. We're comparing one nation's economy to another. But I kind of want to focus here and kind of center this in terms of the concentration and has manufacturing really actually increased? Think about it, okay, when it comes to the competitive market, from a micro perspective, how does that have an impact and an effect within the consumer here in the United States when it comes to power of purchase and decision making when you're actually looking to purchase a product? So think about that. Think about marginal costing, or marginal cost, I should say. Think about how that impacts the buying decision of the consumer. And then also think about, for example, the economic conditions. Think about the inflation of prices. We have covered that over the last few weeks regarding inflation of prices. How does that have an impact within the market itself? Even though production happens to be steady, is the consumer really making the purchase of the product that further progresses and indicates a healthy market? Okay, when you're looking at more than one competitor engaging in one particular product, okay, to market to the consumer. So this leads into wages. Okay, as we think about wages, think about your wages. Have they really increased to meet the cost of inflation? That's something to think about. Some companies, okay, may give a 2% increase annually. All right. Is that beneficial for the household? Is there an actual return there? Maybe, maybe not. It depends. Some, as a matter of fact, depending on the employer, they have not actually seen an actual increase annually, meaning they've gotten a raise within their wages. And then you have to look at, again, as I mentioned just a minute ago, the inflation in cost overall. How does that impact various households? So think about that as you engage in your discussion thread for this week. And we're talking about supply and demand factors. So how does supply and demand for the labor affect your wage in the field that you are currently in or will be currently engaging in within the future? That's something to think about when you actually post your initial response for the discussion thread for Module 6. And then, of course, you have your assignments. You have your written assignment here. Let me get to that, where you're going to be thinking about, and again, there's going to be plotting of graphs here. That's going to be involved. And I will open up this assignment here to kind of go over some things. So you're going to be focusing on production and market structures for your written assignments. So think about reliable sources of information. Okay, cite that by all means. Think about the 4 characteristics of a perfectly competitive firm or market. What are the market conditions that actually encompass that? And then, of course, you're going to have some graphing as you have with the previous weeks. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to complete the table. Okay, that's going to indicate a perfectly competitive firm. Now, please exclude this right here. This language, you are not required, class, to get a 73% in this assignment. There was so many blurbs here within the course content at the very beginning when I copied the course over that I thought that I got rid of the 73% compliance. Okay, I've excluded that in all assignments, okay, and in all assessments. You do not have to meet the minimum of 73% in order to move ahead into the next module. But of course, I know that if everyone puts their best effort into completing this assignment, that everyone will score higher than a 73%. So what I ask when it comes to your plotting and your graphing and the writing out of the assignments, especially when you are filling out the tables, make it legible that I'm able to understand it, that I'm able to read it. Okay, so I am looking for legibility within the actual coursework. Okay, so, and then of course you have a connect assignment, okay, and I'm not going to go over that here in this video because there are some important things before I summarize this that I really want to talk about, some due dates that I want the class to keep in mind. And that assignment also will be due Sunday night along with your post-test. All of that will be due next Sunday night for Module 6. Just a reminder, everyone, my Zoom availability will be this Thursday, and I will post an announcement on this. It will be from 5 to 6:30. That will be coming up on July the 18th, where I will be available on Zoom. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you want to discuss anything that's connected or pertaining to your grade, or if you want to actually discuss the coursework itself, I will be available on Zoom. If you want to do a one-on-one Zoom, as I have referenced before in the prior modules, make sure that you reach out to me and give me a 24-hour notice so that I can set up the one-on-one Zoom meeting. Another thing that I want everyone to keep in mind as a reminder, regarding missing assignments. If you are behind on modules, and if you have not made prior arrangements with me, keep in mind that as we enter into the next module, that will be Module 7 next week, July the 22nd, I will not be accepting any more missing assignments from Modules 1 to Module 5. So keep that in mind. Those modules, as we have surpassed those modules, any missing content will remain a 0 that I have to manually grade. So keep that in mind, class. All right, time is of essence here. You still have time, of course. We are 8 days away, as July 22nd, happens to be next Monday. So keep that in mind, okay, as we progress and move forward here into Module 6, the 6th week of class. Okay, everyone, that is going to wrap up our Module 6 video instruction here. And once again, this Thursday, July the 18th, I will have the Zoom session, and I will post a link in the announcements for availability. Everyone, enjoy the beginning of the week, and I'll be talking to you soon.